Hey everybody, Hazel here, and today I am doing a book unhaul. I decided I wanted to clean off my shelves a little bit, so I went through all of the books I have read and the books I haven't read yet, and decided to get rid of the books that either I'm not interested in picking up again, or I just have no desire to keep, and also some of the books that I haven't read but I really don't see myself ever getting to. So these books are in 3 categories. I have some books that I actually have duplicates of, so I'm getting rid of them just so I don't have extra copies. And then I have books that I haven't read, but I don't see myself ever getting to. I'm just no longer interested in them, or I just sort of got them on a whim. And the last group is books that I have read, but either I didn't like or I just don't really feel any desire to keep anymore, so I'm going to get rid of those too. So I'm going to start with the duplicates and then go to the books I'm not interested in reading and end with the ones that I don't like. So I'm going to start with the duplicates. I only have 2 of those, and they are 2001: A Space Odyssey by Arthur C. Clarke and Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. Frankenstein I bought for a class, not realizing I had an ebook of it, and I don't really need to keep this copy of it. And 2001: A Space Odyssey, if you saw my birthday book haul, I bought the Penguin Galaxy edition, which is much nicer, and I just don't need to keep a second copy of it. So the books I no longer have a desire to read is the biggest category, and I'm just gonna go through these and just name them. A lot of these I got free or really cheap. Only a few of them I paid full price. But most of them I just have no desire to keep because they were free and I just picked them up and I don't want to read them anymore. So I'm just going to go through these really quick and just hold them up and name them. The Help by Catherine Stockett, The Mists of Avalon by Marion Zimmer Bradley, Deep Blue by Jennifer Donnelly, The Dragon and the Unicorn by A. Attanasio, Double Exposure by Piers Anthony, The Exiles and the Dawning by Robert L. Wise, The Centaur by John Updike, Firestarter by Stephen King, Atlantia by Ali Condi, Atlantis Rising by T.A. Barron, The Sword of Shannara by Terry Brooks, Earth by David Brin, Eon and Eternity by Greg Bear, A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas, and Green Grass Running Water by Thomas King. So that was all the books I haven't read but have no desire to pick up. So all that's left is the books that I have read but have no desire to keep anymore. So with all of these, I'm just going to briefly explain why I don't want to keep them anymore. So I have 4 books, all by Michael Crichton, that I'm getting rid of, and they are Disclosure, Next, Micro, and Dragon Teeth. So for a while, Michael Crichton was my favorite author, and I decided I wanted to own and read every book he had written. And after a while, after reading a bunch of them, I decided that I didn't like all of them, and I didn't want to keep all of them. So I went through his books, and these ones I just decided I was never going to pick up again. I didn't really have any interest to keep anymore. Next I have Black Horses for the King by Anne McCaffrey. This is a book that I read years and years ago. I think I got this book for free or for really cheap, and it was interesting, and I liked it when I read it, but I really have no desire to go back and read it again, so I don't really want it taking up space on my shelves. And then I have Coraline by Neil Gaiman. This is the graphic novel adaptation. If you watched my March wrap-up, I talked a little bit about it then. It's just not a great adaptation. The story is good, but I just couldn't get into this, and I don't really have any desire to keep it. And then I have Girls of Paper and Fire. I talked about this in my January and February wrap-up, so if you want more complete thoughts, you can go watch that. But I went back and forth on whether to keep this or get rid of it, but eventually I just decided I'm never gonna read it again. I don't have any interest in continuing the series, so there really isn't any point in me keeping a copy of it. And finally, and most upsettingly, I have Warcross and Wildcard by Marie Lu. If you had told me when I first read Warcross that eventually I was going to get rid of it, I probably would have thought you were joking, but after reading Wildcard, I don't love Warcross as much as I did when I first read it. And Wildcard was the kind of bad sequel that doesn't just disappoint you for the continuation of the story, it actually retroactively makes the first book worse, because there were things in Wildcard that I really didn't like that actually said, oh, this started in the first book, which makes the first book seem dumb in a lot of ways. And if you want more complete thoughts on why I didn't like Wildcard, you can watch my January-February wrap-up where I talk about it. And I'm kind of upset because Warcross is a signed copy. I have a signed copy. I really loved this book, but this book isn't a complete story, and I don't want to keep it without keeping the sequel, and I really don't want to keep the sequel. So I went back and forth on whether to just get rid of Wildcard or to get rid of both of them, but I decided I'm gonna get rid of both of them. And that is all the books I'm unhauling. I just counted, and that's 28 books, which I feel good about the amount of shelf space that I have cleared up. If I unhauled your favorite book or a book you really loved, it's not personal. I'm glad that you enjoyed it. I'm glad that you got enjoyment out of a thing that I couldn't, but I just don't have any desire to have these books on my shelves anymore. So I'm going to take them to a half-price books where I can sell them and get a little bit of money for them. And I believe that half-price books donates the books that they don't buy. So one way or another, they will go to a better home. So that is it for this video. I would super love it if you would give a like, maybe subscribe, leave a comment, and talk to me in the comments section. I will leave my social media links in the description so you can go and follow me elsewhere. And I will talk to you all in my next video. Bye!